to play. I'm versatile, like every day. Keep up with my pace, clever is my middle name, yeah. Never got a plan when I'm dancing in the sun. Don't get in my face, cause I see through all those games, yeah. These claws are sharp, and you know I can't be tamed. You wanna know too bad, keep you on your toes like that. Wanna get close too bad, I'm elusive like a cat. You wanna know too bad, I'm not one to rush like that. Wanna get close too bad, I'm elusive like the You wanna know too bad, too bad, too bad. Wanna get close too bad, too bad, too bad. There's a magic in the desert night. Look up as the stars align. It's a mystery to define me, but my girls know where to find me. Aura loud, feeling like I got this now. I come and go like a mirage. Yeah, I'm there until I know. You wanna know too bad, keep you on your toes like that. Wanna get close too bad, I'm elusive like the You wanna know too bad, too bad, too bad. Wanna get close too bad, too bad. Too bad, too bad, too bad, bad. Too bad, too bad, too bad. Color outside the lights, oh nah, nah, nah. In a world so black and white, dreams coming to life, oh nah, 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 yeah. I do what I like. La 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 la. Too bad, too bad, too bad, bad, bad. Too bad, too bad, too bad.
Testing, mic check. Cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns, cinnamon buns. Hello, friendos. My name is Nez, and we are once again back at it again for some more Arknights, because we are continuing our story reading of Medjehtiqedti Bound. We have... Look, man. Titi is just a good egg who wants to give Minos reparations for all the bullshit that Sargon has done to it. However, she's been caught in the middle of politics and the whims of politicians. So she was just recently embarrassed on a public stage. All we wanted to do was get the exchange ceremony set up so that we could give back the sacred artifact. And yet, the Astinomos had to make a show of things and publicly shame Titi. She did make a couple of friends while we were here in Minos, but it's hard. It's hard, man. It's hard to quell the understandable bad blood that the Minoans have towards Sargon. Titi is here on good faith. Not quite sure about Benui, though. Benui's just using the artifact as a bargaining chip for whatever technology that they left behind when they colonized Minos. They razed every single city except the 3 polis. aside from that, Varkaris seems to be getting more and more agitated with each chapter. He's still fighting a war that has ended a long time ago. Hopefully he doesn't start an international incident, but I think we're way past that now. But then again, let's try to keep the violence at a minimum, Varkaris. How many more days do we have left until the exchange ceremony? And who will be the one in charge of it? I'm pretty sure the Astinomos wants to be in charge of it. Okay, let's just get all of these out of the way before we get started. You just logged in. I just used my sanity. And there we go. Okay, so where did we stop? We stopped at ME-3. So we'll continue with ME-4. Misstep. Burdens too heavy to bear have a tendency to drop when you could least afford to bear them. And so Karasera, the singer of epics, the gentlest hero of Agamem, hung her harp upon the branches of the laurel tree. Its body made from the tallest firs atop Mount Himnoi, its strings made from the bravest bird and beast that roam the Agnes plains. When it played, all things in the land of heroes sang together, riding upon the winds in freedom. No wonder you came up with the idea of holding the exchange ceremony on the temple square when you saw the completed statue of Karasera. You brought Karasera's true harp, the one that used to be displayed in the first temple of old Athenius? Yes. Legend has it that Karasera was inspired to carve a massive harp from a mountain rock, and first after hearing the mountains tell their stories beneath Mount Himnoi. It was a blessed harp that only sang on important occasions, or when played when a great hero like Karasera. Played by a great hero like Karasera. Offering a song that touches the people's hearts. The first temple was destroyed when the Sargonians invaded old Athenius. Grieving the tragedy, the harp sang no more, and afterwards went missing. Yeah, they plundered it and put it up in the Varjabandavad Museum. Until Padisha Carey found it in his collection. I don't know how it ended up in Sargon. Perhaps a Sargonian soldier looted it from old Athenius and sold it to the Padisha's ancestor. I don't think anyone alive in Athenius has ever seen the original harp. The only people who would know anything about the harp are the few priests well-versed with ancient texts, or oribenders like Cassandra, who directly communicate with the heroes. Does it still make a sound? Yes. We performed an inspection on the strings. They're a little aged, but still in playing condition. I see. Perhaps the silence of the harp was simply a metaphor, as is often the case in Minoan stories. So it was a harp. I thought it would be a shield, you know, like Athena's shield. It was a harp. We're the ferrymen. We pay these outrageous rents to be by the canal and get fresh fins. Oh, there's a twunk. You would be the type of guy that they cancel from lads and then swear to never make new love interests ever again. Goods are here, Keeper. Finally, any more delays and we won't be ready for the diplomatic delegation. Should I unload the goods for you? Hey, why is the boat docked so far today? People will be falling into the water trying to unload stuff. Bring the boat closer, please. As close to the kitchen as you can. Okay. Thank you. Why are you the one delivering today? By the way, it's usually Xanthos who does it. He's a bit up in his feelings. I apologize. Master Xanthos had some business. Well, if it's no problem. As long as the food gets here and the kitchen gets to work. You've been with Xanthos for a few years, haven't you? He must have his reasons for planning it this way. Not concerned at all. What about that? Sorry, Palace. Everyone in the temple has their hands full today. I simply can't free up anyone from the moving crew. I wanted to get the harp into the first temple ahead of time to see if it fits Karasera's statue. I should have had someone big and strong to help with carrying the harp, though. It's just the two of us. Karasera was not particularly tall according to historical records. People took particular note of the contrast when she stood next to her harp. Maybe I could even do it myself. I think you're way too drunk. Ugh, it's heavy. Is this box full of lead or something? Well, we entered Athenius by the ancient route, which is pretty rough. We couldn't risk any damage to the relic. I had the museum staff prepare packaging that's fireproof, waterproof, shockproof, and impact-proof, which unfortunately added a ton of weight to it. On the other hand, it wouldn't get a scratch on it, even if an earthquake suddenly shook a whole house down onto it. I can see you great take care of your museum and collection. I went to Colombia to study musology because I was curious about everything, and ended up working in the museum when I went back to Sargon. My father died young, and my family's a far cry from its past glory. Honestly, I'm not sure why the Padisha picked me to lead the diplomatic mission. But it's my job now and I want to do it right. Did I ever tell you that? What? What's happening? What happened? Everything okay, Titi? Barkaris? Don't worry. The harp's unharmed. I was asking about you. Speaking of earthquakes, good thing the relic is well protected. What's all the commotion downstairs? Looks like a boat rammed straight into the hotel kitchen. Oh no! Varkaris! It's over. It's all over. Oh wait, no, that's not him. What kind of ferryman are you? Full sails from 5 meters away? On a windy day like this? You knew your boat would go even faster than Hermes the messenger. You wanted the boat as close to the kitchen as possible. I didn't mean inside the kitchen. Make way, make way. Peace officers already dispersing onlookers. Don't crowd around like this. I need to see what happened. Like him? You'll uphold justice, won't you, Grammateus? Oh wait, no. You'll uphold justice, won't you, Grammateus? I just wanted the boat bringing the ingredients to be closer to the kitchen, but this kid rammed it right into the place. I'm sorry, I don't know how to operate a boat. How? You're the apprentice of a ferryman. How do you not know how to operate a boat? Xanthos told you to make a scene. Who do you think you're fooling? You've been studying with Xanthos at the crossing every day for years. Theoretical knowledge does not equal practical skill. Why you? Enough! I can testify that this man never passed a single chariot race test back in the preschool. Doesn't explain how he didn't see this huge stop sign, does it? The boat ran right through the fence. Didn't see. Has Oripathy spread this perceptual system? Is that why Lena made a home visit the other day? Like in? Why do you look like I'm Why do you think I'm going to die soon? No, don't say that, even if it's true. Excuse me, Grammateus, I know the two of you used to be classmates, but you're here as an official, and my kitchen has suffered significant damage. Here, this is your coin purse. I'll pay for the damage. Take what you need. Who's telling you to pay for me? You never got a proper job since you left preschool. I know Xanthos takes care of your room and board, but I doubt you have much money saved. Don't worry about it. Spend your money on treatment. Don't forget you still owe me a debate. I'm fine, really. The coughing. An acute attack? A doctor! I need a doctor here! It's just the smoke, you idiot! Go get someone to fight the fire, Grammateus! They're extra in Greece. The fire is getting stronger. Looks like the boat hit the kitchen stove. What's with all the smoke? We need to get out. Get away from the smoke. But the harp? The harp's well protected. I see the officers are already organizing people to fight the fire. It should be under control soon. Besides, the stairs are too narrow. The harp would get in the way of the other people evacuating. Besides... Are you alright, Palace? You're right, we need to leave. We can come back when the smoke's gone. Let's go! Did Xanthos put Lycaon up to this? A fire? Oh no, my luggage is still in the room! Don't worry, the fire is in the first floor kitchen. It's not going to spread to the guest rooms upstairs. Just wait for them to put out the fire and the smoke to disperse. Hello? Peace officer NPC woman? Stop crowding and clear the area around the door. There's still people coming down from upstairs. Sir, now's not the time to go inside. Uh-oh, Xanthos! It was a distraction. He's gonna steal the artifact! Feeling better, Palace? I'm fine. I just inhaled some smoke. We should be good to go back in the room in 10 minutes. I'll help you take the harp to the first temple, just in case anything else happens. Thanks. Oh, sorry. It's so crowded here. Hey, Palace, didn't that guy look familiar to you? Who? Did you hear? That kid at the crossing was the one who rammed the boat into the kitchen. He looks pretty smart, but I guess he's as dumb as it gets when it comes to piloting a boat. Where was Xanthos? He's the one who usually delivers the goods. Too busy, maybe? But it's not like him to let an inexperienced apprentice get into trouble on his own. True. I remember now. It was Xanthos, the ferryman, who just ran into me just now. Xanthos? Are you sure? If he had the time to come to the hotel, why would he let an inexperienced apprentice steer the boat and cause an accident? Wait a second. I have a bad feeling about this. As do I. He's come to take the artifact!
The room of the Sargonian ambassador. This is the relic that was stolen a century ago.
The tall Minoan peers at the massive wooden box as he starts to motor on his serrated oar, repurposing the tool that he uses to cross the river to pick the lock open. With a chainsaw? He carefully lifts the cover of the box. The instrument of Caracera, which should have come home long ago, is safely packaged in the dust cover.
Caracera's harp, must not be used as a bargaining chip by the Sargonian hypocrites to be shut away in this pretentious, suffocating box.
Put the harp down, Xanthos.
The people praise you for proposing the rebuilding of the first temple as soon as you return to Athena's palace. I voted in favor myself.
Thank you.
But you should not have cozied up to the Sargonians.
You instructed your apprentice to ram the hotel kitchen and cause a fire, letting you sneak in to steal an artifact of great diplomatic significance to our two countries. It's an ill-advised act. The streets outside the hotel are packed with people. You can't possibly escape with the harp. You're jumping out the window? This is the 4th floor! We're directly above the kitchen. The boat that rammed the kitchen wasn't just a distraction. It's his escape. He had this planned. The door will take too much time. How about you give me a ride? Wisdom.
What? We're chasing after him? Meanwhile, Hermes over here.
The fire's under control, Grammateus. As for the hotel's losses, I'll report the incident to the Astronomus' office per official procedures. As for the damage to the kitchen, I've already settled up with the innkeeper. I see. We'll station someone here to make sure no one's trying to take advantage of the chaos. For instance, what is it? Look up!
Hecademos looks up. A pair of forte horns, pitch black under the sunlight, like twin moons, flies over the head of the crowd. The owner landing upon a haystack on the accident boat, before leaping off the boat and fleeing along the river. A few seconds later, a white figure leaps from the window of the end of the silver chain. The black feline's landing is softened by several cloth ribbons surrounding her.
Xanthos the ferryman? And the Sargonian ambassador? What's that huge thing Xanthos is carrying on his back? Don't tell me. You were right, officer. Someone is trying to take advantage of the chaos. Understood. Cordon the scene and impound the boat. Send someone to follow Kyria Mashayer and bring Xanthos into custody.
Time for a chase. The harvest is done. We'll need your help again packing the apples in crates.
No problem. Guys helped out a lot with the stone for the temple after all. Excuse me. Whoa, whoa! Xanthos, what's the hurry? Is that Titi chasing after him?
Hey Thanos! Make way!
Is this a race? Where's the finish line? Go, Titi, go! You can't lose to Xanthos when he has so much stuff on his back, right?
No, I can't!
Careful with the apples.
The Sargonian is persistent, but this is as far as you go.
Xanthos! The river is just ahead! The harp is out of its waterproof packaging! The water will ruin it!
I don't need a Sargonian to remind me. Not when your people have ruined countless Minoan treasures.
Xanthos! Wait, what's that sound? There's a boat under the pier? He had this carefully planned. It wasn't an impulsive act. No, don't go!
Arts-controlled ribbons fly towards a package on Xanthos' shoulder. The Forte instinctively jumps back, placing the harp at the stern of the ship. The ribbons wind themselves around his arm, helping Titi jump onto the boat.
Xanthos, it's swaying beneath my feet. We need to clear the air between us. Let's talk about this on dry land, shall we?
I have nothing to say to a Sargonian.
Let me apologize then.
The two keep their eyes fixed on each other, one at the bow and the other at the stern. Xanthos clutches his oar and starts its motor, while Titi begins to glow with the light of her originium arts. Ribbons fly from her clothes, grabbing the harp and pulling it towards the bow. Xanthos cuts the ribbons, only to find that Titi has closed the distance with the harp. He runs to the bow, causing the boat to tip violently, throwing Titi off balance and interrupting her arts. Both of them reach out desperately. The dust cover on the relic is removed, revealing the legendary lost harp in all of its glory. Every Minoan has heard the story of Karasair and her harp, but precious few have seen it with their own eyes. It remains proud and glorious, and despite the passage of 1,000 years, sunlight falls on the metallic leaves decorating its pedestal, surrounding it with a gentle glow. The pair fighting over the harp has no time to admire as they watch the harp's trajectory change, less than a second before it hits the ground. You must wonder how we got here. That's a long story. My name is Titi. This is my life. Medjehtiqedti has never thought of herself as lucky. The glory of her noble house has long faded away by her father's generation. Her father was obsessed with literature, while her mother, still clinging to old aristocratic habits, showed little interest in spending time with her daughter. Titi spent most of her free time in her father's library alone. The knowledge she learned there was basic, shallow, but it nevertheless expanded her horizons, and instilled in her a strong sense of curiosity for everything. That was why she saved money to pay for her own studies in musology in Colombia. She was excited but nervous when Padisha Carey appointed her to be the ambassador to Sargon. On one hand, she was drawn to the wonders of Minoan culture, and the stories of heroes. On the other hand, she was acutely aware of the challenges that the burden of history presented. The joy that she gained from working with the temple craftsmen, the last vestige of fantasy and daydream in her mind, would be shattered with a falling harp in less than a second. The fuck is with this How I Met Your Mother bullshit? We're capping off this with a punchline. Xanthos was not so arrogant as to think that his plan to take the harp back from the Sargonians was flawless. He might go to jail, or have an neuropathy attack while carrying out the plan. He did not care that he was risking his life on something that would seem ridiculous to most. To him, the only place where he would find peace was the battle on the border, where Ithacos went 5 years ago. There was no point in asking the meaning of anything that has happened since. But the trickery of fate is even more cruel than in heroic legends. Xanthos thought of many ends for himself, but never this one. The precious harp is about to hit the ground, and there is nothing Xanthos can do about it. Should he be angry, sad, fearful, or simply laugh at his own helplessness? The emotions that fate has impounded have returned to his empty chest. The tall Minoan warrior sees everything flash before his eyes. The breeze of the Delphi Canal brushes against Xanthos' back. It has never felt so cold. He cannot help but tremble. He can see the Sargonian woman's face. It is deathly pale. He knows that his own face is the same. Bang. We've arrested Xanthos the Ferryman and his apprentice Lycaon on charges of robbery, Your Excellency. I sincerely apologize for the damages you've suffered. I know it's not my place to ask, but can the damaged item be... Thank you for your concern, officer. The item was damaged. The item damage was a personal effect and not particularly valuable. Yeah, let's keep it under wraps for now. It was Xanthos the Ferryman who ferried me across the river when I first came to Athenius. The
This was simply a minor misunderstanding. You can send the onlookers on their way. Yes, Your Excellency. If you do not intend to pursue the matter any further, then we will take the 2 suspects and proceed in accordance with the law. You two, thank Kiriam Mashire for her magnanimity.
You don't know how to steer a boat. Ramateus Hakademos can testify to that. You could have gotten off easily. Why put yourself in this situation with me, Lycaon?
You instructed me to provide a distraction on the boat because you know I'm a poor liar, Xanthos. I knew about your plan and took action to help you. I must accept responsibility with you. Besides, I do not think that what you did was unreasonable.
So, they were of single mind.
A personal effect. As if the officer believed that. She saw your courtesy as a way out, so she wouldn't have to prosecute her own people. The relic that is at the center of this first cultural exchange between Sargon and Minos since the establishment of diplomatic relations was stolen and damaged during its retrieval. This would be more than enough to start a war if it were Lithanian or Syracusa.
I checked the harp. The damage was minor, only a crack on the pedestal. It can still be easily repaired by filling and painting over the crack. Under normal circumstances, I would have kept it untouched, but these are what we call extenuating. I can fix it so nothing looks out of place for the exchange ceremony in a few days.
Huh. You may have been descended from Sargonian nobility, but you've inherited none of your ancestors' political acumen.
Bro, I get it, man. I get it. She's your political puppet. You're angry that your bargaining piece got chipped. But also, have you ever thought that you may be the asshole in these diplomatic relations? Alongside Astynomos, both of you are fuck asses.
The Minoans are entirely at fault here. This is a perfect chance to punish the offenders severely, establish Sargon's authority and prestige, and...
I know you're proud of your family's military exploits in Minos, Benui Effendi. And to you, this is like revisiting old stomping grounds in a sense. Oh, this motherfucker. Bro, he's a descendant of of the Sargonian colonists. But times have changed. Padishakeri appointed us to visit Minos with Karasera's harp, not to show off Sargonian glory, but to repair the relationship between our two nations. As emissaries of Sargon, our priority is to carry out the exchange ceremony successfully, not our own obsessions and interests. Am I wrong? I don't think Benui expected that Titi could bite back. ME-5, Convergence. As people come and go, the situation inevitably spins out of control. Snarr. Scratch his ear. What the hell was that? Medjehtiqedti! As if it wasn't enough that you went off by yourself first thing in the morning, now you're slamming doors and disturbing my nap. Have you repaired the harp, or have you been enjoying Athenia so much that you forgot to do your job? There's no use trying to repair the harp. Giving up so soon? You can't fix a tiny crack like that. What were you doing in all those classes you took in Columbia? Just filling the crack and painting over it isn't hard. But it's not just the harp that was damaged. Is it its ability to make song? It was also your fragile bleeding heart. It was also Sargon's reputation. Oh. Also that. We're still thinking about what happened at the temple square at the lobby. What? Karasera's harp was one of the best preserved relics I've ever seen. Wooden instruments are highly sensitive. The slightest blemish on the body could change its sound. That was why we were very careful during the appraisal process and avoided any destructive tests. I've heard it a million times at the museum. The ornaments, string materials, and lacquer are typical of Minoan style. Historical records indicate that it likely belonged to Karasera herself. But something didn't feel right when I was repairing it last night. The wood chips that fell from the crack indicate the material was mountain firs, the kind that ancient Minoans often use, but something was off with the cross-section texture.
No way!
Is it a fake?
Is it not actually Karasera's harp?
The weapons of heroes are made from ancient trees. They'll have some pretty deep texture. No, it didn't look like the natural texture of wood. It was reminiscent of a certain moisture retention developed in Sargon. I read about it in old books about instrument making. Minoan plants are rich in moisture, while the climate in Sargon is generally dry. Wood imported from Minos had to be specifically treated to prevent them from cracking due to dryness. The cross-section I saw showed signs of such treatment. You mean this was not Karasera's original harp, but a replica made by Sargonians using Minoan wood? You sure you're not overthinking it? I didn't want to believe it, but I just took the wood chips to the lab. Testing revealed the presence of Sargonian resin, dating back 100 years. Oof. The harp looked perfect. It was virtually impossible to tell that it was a replica without destructive testing. I doubt Medjehtiqedti knew anything. I have to tell the Astinomos. We can't give the Minoans a fake harp under the eyes of Karasera's statue. The exchange ceremony must be stopped.
Ambassador Medjehtiqedti's mission was to carry out the exchange ceremony. Uh-oh, someone was listening in.
Benui Effendi.
We made an oath to the Patisha before we set out. How can you continue to call yourself an ambassador of Sargon if you fail to retrieve the engineering data from the construction of the three polis?
Is that what you're just here for, brother?
Is that all you care about? The engineering data and not mending diplomatic relations?
Yes, I have my duties as an ambassador. As an archaeologist, however, I can't overlook such a mistake, much less intentionally participate in a lie.
That's why I say you have no political acumen. You see yourself as a museum curator, not a diplomatic envoy. The important thing about the relic exchange ceremony is not the relic, but the exchange. Who cares if the harp is a replica? It still makes a sound.
You want to offer up a fake harp at the ceremony? Absolutely not.
And what is your bright idea, Medjehtiqedti? Without the authentic harp and a ceremony right around the corner. In the halls of Menat Haimat, Mait, you told Padisha Carey that you loved the legends of Minos and wanted to see true heroism with your own eyes. Is your idea of heroism clinging to your obsessions and bringing shame to your country at the very first cultural exchange between Sargon and Minos since the establishment of diplomatic relations?
He's gaslighting her. It's more shameful to offer them up a fake, you bastard.
Are you and your useless father one and the same? He ruined your family, turned the name Masatu Mashire into a high society joke. In his obsession with literature, he abandoned his duties, even his duties to his daughter, forcing her to chase the shadows of heroes in books, failing to find any heroism in her father.
This has nothing to do with him. I only love Minoan stories because...
As emissaries of Sargon, our priority is to carry out the exchange ceremony successfully, not our own obsessions and interests. Your words, verbatim.
I hate politicians, bro. Silver-tongued motherfuckers. I'll find a way. Before the ceremony, no matter what it takes. I can't let a fake.
Obstinate fool. Very well. You can mediate while I act on your behalf and carry out the duty that the Sargonian ambassador was supposed to perform.
Meditate. Not mediate. Meditate. Uh-oh.
It's not as if it changes anything. To the Asinomos and the guests, you're nothing more than a curious girl, an enthusiastic volunteer for the temple project, while I negotiated with the Asinomos. I am, for all due intents and purposes, the true ambassador of Sargon.
Okay, asshole. Okay, dude. You're just here to assert Sargonian soft power again. Just because you and your family participated in the colonization of this place. Meanwhile, back with Cassandra. Hello. Maybe you don't remember me, but I visited this ranch quite a lot lately. The herder Melita knows me. Please stop leaning on the fence and let me through.
Look at the burden beast.
It was not my intention to interrupt your nap. Perhaps you will enjoy this grass. The dew is still fresh on it. I also brought some berries. Well, I'm out of bribes. In that case, would you like a dream interpretation? Kyrios? Or maybe Kyria?
Brush his teeth on the fence.
Cauliflower's a girl. Berries are too sweet for her and grass isn't filling enough. You need carrots to draw her attention.
Who's this? No way!
Another furry in Arknights. Okay, this one's really furried up. This one is deeper on the furry scale and they have a Rhodes Island monitor. No fucking way, bro. Okay, ignore the liberal fascist bourgeois that we got in Ursus. Ignore the big buff Mongolian man at Rhine Lab. We got an actual feline furry. She's feline, right? She looks feline. Or maybe, oh, she's a fox. 2-tier event. What's up, Hermit? She's a fox with tummy out. Just scoop some water with a leaf and spray it on its horn to cool it down. You really know your bird and beast, Melita. Melita? Melita. I didn't know that there were so many tricks to getting a bird and beast to move. Of course, they're not like beck beasts, which are used to taking commands. A herder needs 100 tricks to coax bird and beast into doing what you need them to do. It's this understanding that builds a bond between bird and beast and herder. Wait. Sorry, I had to burp. Am I right, Cauliflower? Get some and leaves. Maybe it's a talent to know one more way to get bird and beast to move than the herders. Thanks for getting Cauliflower to move, Melita. No problem. The priestess of Endymion Temple gracing us with her presence means that this place is blessed by the heroes. We couldn't be happier. As long as it doesn't cause any trouble for you. Of course not. All you do is admire the sights and look at the fence. A little while back, I was concerned that the fowl could slip through the cracks in the fences. A few days later, you filled the gaps with strong threads. Just doing my part. It was a very kind deed. I won't disturb you anymore. I have a few hooves to trim. Cassandra leans towards a filled fence where delicate threads stand in regular intervals, gleaming in the sun.
She plucks one of the threads, hearing nothing except the breeze blow over the pasture.
Of course it wouldn't make a sound. Not even a bird and beast running into it did.
You trying to play it like a harp?
There isn't much time. When will you sing again?
What did that mean? When will you sing again? What is she trying to do, making a harp out of a fence?
I know what you're here for, Curious Benui. Rest assured that the relationship between our two nations is the highest priority. A little accident will not be allowed to affect it.
A little accident?
Xanthos came to Athenius 5 years ago working as a ferryman and manager of the crossing. He took in an apprentice like Cain, a former preschool student. They are accused of attempting to steal from the room of Ambassador Medjehtiqedti. They are being held in custody pending trial in accordance with the law. Since the ambassador has elected not to press charges,
a justification to comfort the ignorant people by a naive girl moonlighting as a supervisor of the rebuilding of the first temple. Not the decision of the honored ambassador of Sargon.
I see your views differ from Curium Mashayers. I will of course take full responsibility for this matter as Astinomos. However, I would ask that the two of you come to an agreement as how to deal with this.
You know what I mean, Astinomos. My view is that of the Sargonian delegation. This tragedy, the theft and destruction of the harp, would never have happened if the exchange ceremony was not repeatedly delayed. I have reason to suspect that you have intentions other than promoting the relationship between our two nations, that you have intentionally delayed the ceremony, and everything that took place did so on your orders.
This motherfucker!
I hear the position of Astinomos was newly created, following the administrative reform of Athenius, and you were rewarded with the role because of your contributions to said reforms. If something goes wrong with the first cultural exchange between our two nations since the establishment of diplomatic relations, then I congratulate you on being the only Astinomos who the people of Athenius will never forget.
The exchange ceremony is certainly my most important task. I admit I was negligent in not arriving at the scene promptly due to a busy schedule. In that case, how would you define this incident, this theft and destruction of the harp?
The brutal, barbaric, ignorant, baseless hatred of the perpetrators.
Baseless? This bitch!
The robbery and destruction of this symbol of friendship between Sargon and Minos was a most despicable act.
You don't even consider it as a symbol of friendship. It's a bargaining tool to you. You just want your tech back.
In my 30 years overseeing culture in Menat Hamait, Sargon has received many letters from Minos requesting the return of cultural artifacts that were removed during the occupation.
You mean plundered? Plundered!
Shouldn't these plunderers of Minos' national treasure be severely punished? If you Minoans truly value it so much.
Why are you... Bro, he's such a rat. He's calling Xanthos the plunderer for trying to retake what he perceived to be a Minoan ancient artifact.
They will be tried according to Minoan law. As far as the punishment is concerned, though,
I have no intention of leaving the impression that Sargon is trying to bully the people of Athenius. We are emissaries of peace, after all. This is a most sensitive time, however. Just because Sargon and Minos signed a truce 5 years ago, doesn't mean that all is peaceful and well.
5 years ago. That was when Ithacos died. So it was right at the time of the truce. If he didn't just cross the river, Ithacos would still be alive, and Xanthos wouldn't have so much baggage. Well,
it wouldn't just be one thing. Ithaco's dying was the crux of it, but the Sargonian occupation is still, I think, enough baggage, though.
The Padishas are used to solving problems with force of arms. I would not give them a reason to get angry if I were you.
There's still the issue with the Golden City, and that's gonna be addressed by Pepe, since she was invited over to save her brother from getting his tongue cut out after becoming the historian who has to whitewash Sargonian history. Xanthos and Lycaon conspired to steal and deface a national treasure and sabotage the exchange ceremony.
Their actions are tantamount to treason.
This rat bastard. They will be put on death row immediately. Yeah. Okay, bro. No one believes that. All playable characters have plot armor.
Thank you, Astinomos. I look forward to the exchange ceremony in a few days. Get in!
What's going on? It's not normal to transfer prisoners so suddenly, before we're officially sentenced. Oh my god! Why are the Minnows cops? I'm not complaining, why are they all hot women? This one's also a furry! Yo! I'm just following orders. Move quietly and behave yourselves. Maybe there'll be a chance for clemency.
You really believe the Sargonian ambassador would protect the Minoans who tried to steal the harp?
We heard what she said to the officer. It would have been the easiest to make the accusations while everyone was watching, but she didn't do it.
You could never tell what someone is thinking. Submit an official assessment of the damage, put pressure on the Astinomos and peace officers. There are many things that the Sargonian delegates can do. Death row, eh? Or getting the royal treatment. You should regret it, Lycaon. Destroying a hotel kitchen is nothing compared to the charges we now face.
All the more reason we had to take what's ours back from the bandits. The harp was Caraceris. The harp of Caraceris sings only the stories of heroes. It will not and must not sing for a false peace. I know your past, Master Xanthos. I may not have experienced war for myself, but I respect your decision. I couldn't let you risk everything by yourself, having knowing about your plan. You're not complaining either, Hermit? We got things going on here in Minos. We got hot women in tactical outfits, but then again, they're still cops. So, that one gif where we pull up the gun crying against the hot furry cop woman. Oh, ACAB includes a hot furry cop woman. Oh, ACAB includes Swire and Hoshiguma. You saved my life 2 years ago.
It was your classmate from preschool, Hecademos, who carried you down from the archery range after you were injured by an Originium shard. I just took in a former student who wasn't willing to continue the priesthood. That's all.
An infected can never become a priest. It's divine work, communing with the heroes and guiding the way for the people. I couldn't do it. As for Hecademos, all he wants is someone to debate him. You dense motherfucker, he loves you! That twink loves you, bro!
Do not fool yourself, Lycaon. It will only make the pain worse when you finally have to face it.
Even Xanthos knows! Xanthos is like, You'll realize how much he felt about you and how much he meant to you when you're on the gallows.
Master Xanthos. My friend brought technology from the nomadic cities when he came to my homeland after receiving divine revelation. He built a village in the barren swamps with us. The people in the village respected him a lot, but he always had a dark look on his face late at night. I lied to myself and tried to convince him that the river in his dreams wasn't red with blood. It was red because of iron that the river brought from upstream, and that the revelation was supposed to bring him to us. But he didn't believe it. He was prepared to go to war from the beginning. I was fooling myself.
There are undertones here that Xanthos and... what's his face? Fuck, it slipped my mind. I remembered it like 20 minutes ago, an hour ago. Xanthos and his friend are paralleling Lycaon and Hicademos. Which would mean that there's an implication that Xanthos and his friend might have been involved. It is ancient Greece after all. So it's not a 0% chance.
River. Young people these days are foolish enough to fight the Sargonians to the death because of a dream like that. And the two of you are here because you stole things from the Sargonians. The harp of Karasera belongs to the Minoans. Even less worth it.
Hold up. No shot. Are we gonna get our Plato or Socrates analog?
What truly belongs to the Minoans these days, after the Sargonians invaded 100 years ago?
Who is this? Is this an old war veteran? Is this gonna be our Plato or Socrates analog? He's bald! My eyes! Northern Lion and my Arknights?
Hey, you're the one who invited me. Say something. I skipped the banquet celebrating the completion of the first temple for you, you know?
Oh, they completed it.
You were a big part of getting the work across the finish line the day before the exchange ceremony. Tradition calls for a full day of celebration. The craftsmen began drinking and reciting poetry in broad daylight.
I mean, so even if Titi couldn't be officially recognized as the supervisor of the rebuilding, her actions spoke louder because she basically got everyone to work and cooperated.
Tradition calls for a full day of celebration. The craftsmen began drinking and reciting poetry in broad daylight. Not all of them hold their drink well. Guess the peace officers will have their hands full tonight. Cantia from the moving crew, right? She's really taken to you after you helped her a few times. Yeah, it's been like a dream, coming to Athenius. Right you are. First day in Athenius, you solved the dispute between the fruit farmers and craftsmen. Then you became the supervisor of the final phase of the temple rebuilding project.
Oh, she was still voted in, it's just that some people made the loud majority just kind of shamed her a bit that night. She still became the supervisor.
And you chased Xanthos over multiple blocks over the harp that was stolen. Way more interesting than just escorting a relic, isn't it? Yeah. But my job was to ensure that the exchange ceremony goes smoothly and promote the friendship between our two nations. What's the matter, Titi? This isn't like you. Palace. The harp of Karasera we brought. It's a replica. What? I would never have known if the harp wasn't damaged during my scuffle with Xanthos. Now, my deputy Benui wants to fulfill the Padisha's mission by handing over the fake harp at the exchange ceremony. But I know that's not right. The ceremony's tomorrow. Do you have a solution? There's no good way to do this. We need a miracle.
Why not find the real harp? Easy, just find the real harp. Where could it be? Who knows, maybe it's in the actual statue of Karasera itself. Maybe it was marbled over. That's even possible.
I read through every relevant book I could borrow from the Bibliotheca of Athenius. I learned that the harp of Karasera was lost to war a long time ago, and it hasn't been seen since.
Wait. No. Lost to war? Why would it be at war? Wait, no. Karasera's a hero. Which means whatever she carried around was also a weapon. Which means the harp was a weapon. It was a harp bow. Wait a minute. Is Karasera's harp with Eratos? Hold up. I'm not saying that harp bows might be a unique thing and not that common, but we have only seen very few harp bows. Wait, is Eratos' bow the harp of Karasera? Big brain time. But there's another harp bow that we saw in the story. It's with Ekademos, right? No, he has a megaphone. Someone here has one of these NPCs had a harp bow. Was it Lycan? But if it's Eratos, that would be wild.
It's likely the Sargonian craftsman who made this replica had only seen the blueprints, not the harp itself. Could the true harp still be in Minos, or it was destroyed by the fires of war a long time ago? I'm sorry. There's no need for you to apologize. What do you plan to do if the true harp is nowhere to be found? I can't publicly announce in my capacity as Sargonian ambassador that we brought a fake harp. It's more likely to lead to conflict than to reveal the truth. A very reasonable concern. And so I'll have to stop the ceremony in my personal capacity. What do you mean? I'm getting rid of the fake harp before the ceremony can start.
Hold up. What about Cassandra? She was messing with the fences at that farm, trying to reproduce a harp. Wait, is the harp of Karasera with the priest? Has it been passed down with the high priest? Does Cassandra have it? Is she trying to repair it? Because she was trying to weave together some strings to produce sound on the fences, to practice on repairing the harp. Wait. Meanwhile, back with our furry cop.
You can't go in.
Look, I know a special visitor's permit is required to visit and deliver supplies. I just forgot. Can you accommodate me this once? My old classmate went in a couple days ago. All of a sudden, his family asked me to bring him some stuff. Alright, I'll tell you the truth. He's pretty sick. The Athenian jail has a doctor and basic medicine, but it's not as effective as the Rhodes Island stuff. He could have an attack while in custody if he doesn't get proper treatment. Save your breath. It's no use. Alright, I didn't want to do this. Here's my pass. Nicodemus, Grammateus to the Astonomos. I'm authorized to enter detention facilities, even bring in suspects for questioning. Open the door. This is an order. I will file the necessary paperwork later.
You want to see the two thieves who came in a few days ago?
Lycan is not...
Never mind. Yes. You can't.
What? Why not?
You are authorized to see prisoners held at the jail, but the two you're looking for aren't here anymore.
Were they transferred?
This is unusual. Has Kyria Anthopoulos' orpathy treatment system been implemented already?
Where were they transferred?
Don't bother, Hikadimos. I don't know who they are to you, but not even the Grammateus of the Astronomos is authorized to see inmates on death row.
Death row? Oh! Another furry. We're getting so many furries. This one's one of those heavily furry dogs.
Sorry, Kyria Anthopolo.
Does the Astronomos really not have the time? I heard that Xanthos and his apprentice were arrested for theft. They're my patients and in a key stage of treatment, as the Rhodes Island clinic already reported. Xanthos' blood originium crystal density is particularly high, which could potentially lead to an acute attack of neuropathy. I would like to deliver medicine to them.
Bro? No way. Oh shit, they don't know! If they give them a public execution, if they give neuropathy patients that are like stage 4 of neuropathy a public execution, they're gonna explode and become a spreader event. Bro!
Look, I don't understand any of the medical jargon you're throwing around. We are all grateful to you for returning to Athenius. Bring back medical knowledge that you learned abroad in establishing a neuropathy clinic, but I shouldn't talk too much. And you're a good doctor, and the Astronomos' sister. You should really keep your distance from her for a few days at least, if only for the sake of your relationship.
Why?
The official line says the crime was theft, but the Sargonian ambassador came here a few days ago and said the thing that was stolen wasn't the ambassador's personal item, but an imported relic for the exchange ceremony. He put a lot of pressure on Lydia. They're probably going to be publicly charged with treason once the ceremony is over.
Treason? But according to Minoan law...
Most of the issues the Astronomos faces cannot be solved through legal procedures. She wants a new, modern Minos, and she's willing to give everything for it. That's why we're willing to work with her.
New modern Minos still practicing capital punishment. But also, those two dudes are ticking time bombs because they're infected and the current Minoan government doesn't know how to handle infected deaths yet.
Perhaps you're not aware, but she gave up her family inheritance, even chasing her other family out of Athenius after taking office.
She gave up on her inheritance? I thought the business failed.
This exchange of relics is an important part of her administration. There must be no mistake, at least not on the surface. Even if it means sacrificing 2 lives. It's not like they're innocent after all.
But they are innocent. And also, this is about to become a super spreader event.
I'm sorry. I have to get back to work.
What is Lydia? Well, she wouldn't meet with me, and I doubt I could convince her, even if we did meet. But Xanthos and Lycan need to be tried fairly. I can't let Lydia make a mistake like this. What do I do?
Sorry, I was lost in thought. Kyria Anthopolo.
You've been staring out the window, Astronomos. Apologies, Garea Cassandra. Why not let Kyria Anthopoulos in? I have to discuss the establishment of an neuropathy treatment system with her anyway. Oh? I thought you wanted to get extra help to plead the case of the 2 infected who were arrested a few days ago. You know that ferryman, Xanthos, quite well. I believe you were the one who found him a job at the crossing. The peace officers will deal with this theft. Neither of us need to worry about it. I'm afraid I don't have that luxury. If this incident affects the trust between us and Sargon, then this incident will become more than just a simple theft. What? It's my own business. It has nothing to do with the priestess of Endymion Temple. Back on topic, Iorea Cassandra. The opening play for tomorrow's exchange ceremony has been decided. It has to be King Perseus, a popular classic across Terra.
King Perseus, huh? Not the one that was banned for 100 years, involving the hero herself and the execution of the outsider?
All the priests need to do is attend. There will be no need for complicated rituals. A few weeks ago, I came to discuss the priest-directed ceremonial play for the completion of Karasera's first temple. I have not seen you at the Astronomos' office since. I apologize. My schedule is a busy one. I certainly remember. The exchange ceremony also requires an opening play, and we could kill 2 foul beasts with 1 stone this way. We need not bother the priest, however. Excuse me, but the rebuilding of Karasera's first temple is a symbol of the people's spirit. Now that it is complete, the tradition calls for a proper ceremony to invite the heroes to enter the temple and give Minos their blessings. The council is not trying to usurp your administrative power, and the exchange ceremony does fall within your responsibility. However, Minoan drama began as a ritualistic performance. Every single detail is carefully arranged, from the props to the program to the performers. It's not enough to simply put on a popular play. Immortal legend, witness of the oracle, heroic relic. Do not think that I'm completely ignorant of traditional ceremony, or that I'm one of those radicals who calls for every tradition to be abolished. But even if you have the choice of the program and control over the troupe, there's still something missing from the traditional ritual that you want, isn't there? The Sargonian mission brought Karasera's harp. Oh, you do recognize the relic's ritual significance? What do you mean? I'm neither an archaeologist nor historian. As Astronomos, however, I understand every priest who sits on the council, including you. You are the head priest of the Endymion Temple, and endowed with the divine gift of speaking on behalf of the heroes. The knowledge of the heroic epics puts most scholars to shame. Yet you showed no interest about the harp of Karasera the Sargonian mission brought with them. You didn't even ask to see it.
It's because she had the real harp the entire time.
I don't know why exactly, but I could tell that the harp the Sargonian mission brought was not the heroic relic that you knew. The ceremonial play could not have been performed to begin with.
Without the harp, because they needed the harp for any play involving Karasera. Because it was a ritual.
No, I have nothing against the council, Hiera Cassandra. If you present a legitimate heroic relic for the ceremony, I would be happy to give the choice of play back to you. For the past century, however, the temples have mostly used crude replicas in place of true relics for your ceremonies. I don't need to tell you that the link between us and the heroes is weakening. As a modern state, Minos can no longer rely on ancient legends to unite our people's spirits. No need to worry, however. The temples and priests will continue to exist. You can continue to contribute historical research and tourism.
Ooh. Things are getting spicy. Politics are happening. It's now heavily implied that the real relic is in possession of Cassandra. But also, it may be broken. Because she was trying to She was trying experiments to fix the harp. Okay, before we continue with ME-6, I am gonna be right back to refill my water. Okay, I've returned and refilled my water. ME-6, Poem of Remembrance. Legends covered in dust, the past unforgotten, poems linger in your ears.
It's getting late, Palace. We should split up and make our own preparations. Are you really sure about this, Titi? Yes, ever since Benui learned the harp was fake, he's had it under guard by a retinue. He's not letting me get anywhere near it. He's definitely going to post more guards tonight so nothing unexpected happens, but it'll be a different story tomorrow when the exchange ceremony takes place.
Is it gonna take place? Both parties already know that the harp is fake. So what's actually gonna happen? Is the Astronomos office going to reveal that it's fake? To entrap the Sargonian delegation in their own lies? Or is Titi gonna save the day by bringing the real relic?
He's definitely going to post more guards tonight so nothing unexpected happens, but it'll be a different story tomorrow when the exchange ceremony takes place. He'll have to leave it exposed in public, which is where we'll find our chance. Right. But what comes next? Next, the Sargonian government will probably give a formal apology about the whole affair, while sending more diplomats to discuss things with the Astronomos in private. On the outside, it will look like a Sargonian mission taking a Minoan national treasure and fleeing, but the people in charge of both nations will know that all they lost was a fake. That's not what my question was about, Titi. I want to know what will happen to you. Me? I'll take the fake harp and Mio and leave via the ancient route. Can't go back to Menat Hamait? Medjehtiqedti's guards would definitely chase me across the entire city.
We're gonna become an outlaw? We're gonna give up our entire museum career to save this diplomatic farce?
If I really do get caught, then it doesn't matter if it's by Benui or Medjehtiqedti. Either one would most likely eliminate any inconvenient evidence, then push the blame onto Minos. I'll have to keep running. Only then would Sargon's lofty nobles not dare to look so deeply into this burglary without authorization. What I will carry with me is not just a fake harp, but the truth as well.
Nah, let's just ask Cassandra for the real harp and get that fixed. Too complicated, too dangerous.
Titi. Look, no trying to talk me out of it. I'm all for better ideas, believe me. I don't really want to carry a big heavy harp around Terra either. Go home, Palace. Let me be alone for a while. I'll see you tomorrow morning. Fine.
Titi leans against the back of the seat in the plaza and looks up. The night sky is always perfectly clear in Minos. A great boon to stargazers, it is this heavenly advantage that caused the ancient Minoans to associate their heroes with the positions of the stars. When she was young, Titi's father would look up at the stars and tell her the stories of these heroes. Some you could find in the history books. As for those with no source, perhaps they were simply locked up, cooked up by her underachieving bookworm of a father. Though illness took him from this land prematurely, Titi still remembers clearly every story he told her. Within those tales of Minos, will she find one of an exiled hero carrying a fake harp. Countless stars sparkle silently in the dark sky. Titi does not find an answer.
It's late. I clocked out a long time ago. Whatever it is, it can wait until my shift tomorrow.
It is I, Grammateus. Who is this?
Cassandra! Forgive me. I know you're resting at the moment. May I ask why you have deigned to visit me in the middle of the night? I wish to know if the Astynomos has told you anything regarding the theft involving Master Xanthos and his apprentice. I had called upon the Astynomos office earlier to discuss the ceremonial play with her, and when I mentioned the case from a few days ago, she became evasive. The Astynomos most likely has her own concerns. It's the exchange ceremony tomorrow, after all. She not only has to deal with the entire process, but also the Sargonian delegation. Therein lies my worries. If the delegation were to ask for the case to be re-examined in the name of bilateral trust, as the Astynomos is in charge of diplomacy, Lydia could hardly refuse. I could tell she was a little tense when we were talking, and her side desk had piles of Minoan law codices and incident investigation reports. She most likely is already having her hand twisted by the envoy. This means the charges against Xanthos and his apprentice will only become more severe, and if it were not for your schoolmate's Euripathy nearing a crisis point, I do not believe there would be a Vulpo tail behind your sofa's armrest.
Vulpo tail? Perfumer?
We finally meet Lina Antipolo, head of the Rhodes Island branch office. Yaya sas, Cassandra. Xanthos and Lycaon are her patients. She simply wished to give them her medicine while they were jailed, so she came to me for help.
No, you came to her. Well, both things.
Came to you for help. If this were an ordinary jailing, she would have no difficulty in sending medicine to convicts if she so wished. It seems my conjectures were not too far off the mark. Lydia really is going to punish those two heavily to satisfy Sargon's demands. They have most likely already been moved to death row. I never thought Hera Cassandra, dream interpreter of Endymion Temple, would be so skilled in reasoning. You should know, Hikademos, that not even the Astynomos' Grammateus can visit prisoners on death row.
Wait, gotta sneeze. Okay.
Unless you entertain some very dangerous ideas such as
A jailbreak.
a jailbreak. I can't have Lycaon and his master dying in prison from a neuropathy attack. They might have done something wrong, but the punishment is too severe. You've not visited me tonight, Cassandra, and do not know about the sentencing on this case. Could I ask that you help us keep things discreet? If all the heroes are up in the sky watching us, they would not sit idly by and allow something so ridiculous to happen. Are you doing this to save lives as well, Lena? I am. I want to save my patients and save my sister. I understand she has her ambitions as Astinomos. She has burdens to bear too, and she cannot help keep making mistakes. The eyes of the people will be on the exchange ceremony tomorrow. I've already obtained the prison blueprints through my personal connections, and I have a route. As long as we get them out, even if it's just to jab the emergency inhibitor into them, it'll be worth it. A route is not enough. You need someone to buy you time at both the Astinomos' office and the prison. I'll go find Lydia. As for the prison, I can help you.
Yeah, we have a jailbreak plot.
Kyrios, you said that nothing truly belongs to the Minoans, but how can that be? The bird and beast we heard, you've seen them before.
Were they brought by the Sargonians?
The scarves and veils draped on their heads we use to control what they see. Are they not a Sargonian invention? I'm afraid you're off on the symbology of those scarves. Those are actually... Don't try to give me something like they're the subtle reference to the scarves the Sargonians forced us to wear during the occupation. What difference is there between ridicule and praise? Are they both not marks they have left on Minoan culture? I fail to see how you can conflate the two. Still being stubborn, are you? Then let us speak on the ground beneath our feet.
The mobile cities were brought in by Sargonian technology.
More than 100 years ago, Minos spread its roots, drinking deep of its paradise of rivers. But now, Padisha Mala, queen of the far shore, gathered the engineers of Sargon and Minos alongside countless laborers, moving 3 polis atop steel tracks. Athenius is far away from its former resting place.
That is obvious sophistry. Even if the Sargonians had not come, we would have eventually moved our cities onto nomadic plates ourselves. It's the inevitable march of technology.
Yes, well said. Have you spent time at Theros' temple, boy? However, there's one point you have overlooked. The very language we are using in this debate right now is mixed.
He's got you there. The language that you use is also a form of colonization. The fact that my main language is English is was forced on to Filipinos, dog.
The old tongue of Minos has eroded away during the occupation. The modern Minoan language the priests worked so hard to assemble. How many words do you think were taken from the nation you so hate? You. Enough! You do not understand the man's meaning, Lycaon. There is no removing the scars of war. A truce does not mean anything in the past. Everything is in the past. We can no longer fight for the Minos in our hearts, for it no longer exists. You with the helmet, you're actually somewhat interesting. Judging by your age, you could not have experienced the occupation yourself, but your words reveal the deep understanding of the period.
What does that mean, bro? What? Judging by your age, you could not have experienced the occupation yourself? Is he saying he's too old or too young?
Do not waste precious time guessing at the history of strangers. I'm just a tramp who doesn't care if he dies on the street or in prison. I once had a decent son. He was stolen away by his dreams. Dreams?
Is this Ithakos' father?
One morning 9 years ago, he ran out of his room shaking me out of my hangover, telling me that he dreamed of a river and that he should set off.
He's Ithakos' father.
A river running red with blood. I did not have to visit the priest of Endymion Temple to understand its meaning. If that boy was not trying to get away from me, then he was thirsting for battle. He forgot what our ancestors have experienced and forgot why his father is a useless drunken gambler. Divine revelation. A river red with blood. You are Ithakos' father.
Mio, what are you up to? Does Titi have a plan aside from just nabbing the artifact? We need to go talk to Perfumer.
Titi, why are you back so late? I thought you were busy fleeing from justice. We might actually have to flee from justice, Mio. What? You spent all that time walking about to come up with this brilliant plan, and you want me to suffer alongside you? Take the fake harp far and far away and place all the wrongs on one person's theft. That's the best way to resolve this that I can think of.
It's a short-term solution because the political machinations will continue regardless if you're here or you're gone with the artifact.
That's certainly not the best way, but it's definitely the most Medjehtiqedti way. Huh? 3 weeks ago, when the delegation left Sargon, you said you wanted to experience the route Kerasera took when going to Athenius for the first time, so you followed the ancient route, even though it was a massive pain. You could see Benui's guards talking shit about you, but you didn't want to make a scene, and you were worried they wouldn't treat the relic right, so you took that big heavy harp with you by yourself. And there was that time a few months ago in the Menat when you were helping that Pepe girl out of a bind. You went and poured an entire jug of wine all over yourself. We both know you spent a long time grumbling to me about that afterwards. Saying stuff like how a curator's salary isn't enough for all that dry cleaning. But you didn't blame Pepe. After all, you believe this is what friends should do for each other. If all your best ideas keep ending up with you taking the burden on yourself, then you should just quit already. What's so funny, huh? Nothing. It's just that after hearing your words, I'm even more convinced I'm doing the right thing. Like how Xanthos and Lycaon did not wish for the relic that is rightfully Minos' to be used as a diplomatic bargaining chip, so they stole it bearing all the consequences. I might not understand their true intents, but I believe their deeds are worthy of being recorded in the tales of heroes. Right now, I'm just a copycat. I don't dare to assume I understand what makes someone a hero, but I want to write my own tale. Even if I can't be considered a real hero, even if the protagonist of this story can only run away.
I never expected you to come to such a realization, Kyria Mashayer. Is this Cassandra?
Cassandra?
We're talking about this in the public street.
Do you not blame Xanthos and his apprentice, who attempted to steal the harp? If it were not for their meddling, your cultural exchange would have gone smoothly, even if what you have is but a fake. How could I blame them? I have a feeling Benui will try to seize the initiative to pressure the Astinomos onto handing down an unjust sentence. But it's those two who reveal the truth. If I can shift the focus of the issue onto myself by stealing the fake, and free both Xanthos and Lycaon, then it'll all be worth it. Wait, how do you know the harp of the Sargonian delegation is a replica. Please come with me, Kiria Mashayer.
We're gonna be shown the real harp. Flashback! Ooh! Change of background music.
You really sure about leaving the village? I'll be off at first light tomorrow. The fields have already been replowed. There's plenty of seeds and grain, and the storehouse has also been fixed. As for the ferrying, I taught a few of the young ones. Don't worry. I'm worried about you, Xanthos. You've never left the marsh before, and now you want to run off into the distance, all to find a stranger. Ithacos is my brother. He's helped us all out before. It's been an entire year. Maybe he's already headed back to Athenius. Maybe where he was from. It makes sense. The things he agreed to do, he will do. Once the war is over, he will return. He promised me. Have you ever considered if he's already... He went off to fight the Sargonians. Then I shall avenge him. I shall avenge the Minoans.
Northern Mountains, Minos.
Hey, don't get so worked up.
Oh, wait. Another furry.
You've got the wrong guy. I'm really not your Ithacos or whatever it was.
The one getting worked up is you, friend. I merely recognize the armor you wear. It belonged to Ithacos, my brother. Before he left, every family in our village donated leather and iron for it. I was the one who made that set of armor presentable and forged him his weapon.
Forgive me. I've been battling for so long now. Big battles, small ones, and it's been a long time since I had proper sleep. My mind's here. There's still some calm herbal tea in the pot.
Can you tell me who you got this armor from?
Another guerrilla friend. He ran into a skirmish, took an arrow, and before he died, he gave it to me. But his name wasn't Ithacos. You see all these marks on the armor? It must have passed through a lot of hands to get to that many. You might not know this, but we guerrillas aren't like the Sargonian army. We're not well supplied. Everyone gathers up weapons, armor, and food, which get given out depending on the mission's priority. I can tell you that fallen guerrilla's unit number, and that'll get you where you need to be. Alright, let me give you back the armor first.
Keep it. It's still of use to you. Just telling me the way is enough, friend.
If you insist. But are you sure you want to search the mountains? These mountains are our stomping grounds, and where we battled the Sargonians.
So, Minos is south of Sargon. If they battled the Sargonians in the north.
Then I'll join you.
You ever seen a battlefield before?
Before all this, I had only ever held oars and farming tools. But we have no other choice, do we?
Sorry, I don't really remember the smiling long-haired forte that you mentioned. As for the boots, I got given them when I joined the guerrillas. According to the friend who gave them to me, they belonged to a middle-aged guy who was missing a chunk out of his left horn.
There's a hole in them.
Sorry, they're a little small for me. I haven't had the time to mend them. Those Sargonians have been chasing us the entire time. If you hadn't shown up to support us in the nick of time.
Sit down.
Huh?
I'll help you mend them.
He kept looking for his friend, for his brother, for his loved one.
Nasai Kala. Wow, you've got big hands. But they're nimble. How long have you been one of us?
4 months. I came here to find someone at first. Keep the boots. Fighting, marching, hiding, reorganizing. You bleed, you die, or you wipe your sword. Then you jump into the next battle. Days like these are long ones. Where's the man who gave you these boots? Just point me the way, friend.
I knew this letter carved on the corner of the shield meant something. You're saying it's short for Ithakos, and you carved it. So you've spent half a year wandering the battlefields, staying with pretty much every one of our bands, just to find this guy.
It seems you don't have much you could tell me either.
Sorry, Xanthos. Also, I don't plan on giving the shield back to you. Look at just how much blade marks there are on it. And these black marks. Sargonian arts could merely make a dent on it. I need to keep it. I'll let it protect me, protect more of our friends. Maybe even keep me alive long enough to go home one day.
If that is the case, then I couldn't be happier. Let the name Ithakos stay by your side. Let our blood, our eyes, be witness to our victory.
This is where we part, my friend.
Just point me the way. It is all I ask. Try changing hands. Ithakos was left-handed, which I kept in mind when I made this arts unit for him. I knew it! I knew something felt off about the power levels. It's already been a whole year, Xanthos. Time flies, as swift as a melted river. You're already the most famous gorilla in the mountains. You've fought the most fights, walked the most battlefields. Everyone sings of your heroism. Are you really going to keep searching for your brother? I have no reason to stop. Like how you will not turn and leave the battlefield. Huh, you're right. Your accent. You're from Lacedaemon. I sure am. Well, more specifically, my hometown is on the route the nomadic city follows. It's a river valley, absolutely beautiful in spring. I've just told you about my hometown. The village Ithakos and I founded together. You should tell me more about yours. We have been losing this war for over 100 years. We do not know how it will end. We should remember each other's hometowns. We should remember each other. I'll be more than happy to, my friend. I continue my search tomorrow. Just point me the way, my friend. Why must I suffer the indignity of being tied to this tree, Minoan? Like I said, answer my question. Ithakos, 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 always about Ithakos. Fine, fine, those feek, I've had enough. 2 years ago, my troops met with Minoan guerrillas near here. They were escorting some wounded. I remember their ensign matches the unit you mentioned. We wiped them out. That Ithacos you keep talking about should have been in one of them. You happy now? Did you seriously set up an ambush for the sake of a battle 2 years ago? So you could capture me and have your revenge? You're mad, Minoan. An absolute lunatic. You might not believe me, but this is all just a coincidence. Before today, I was not thinking of finding Ithacos or killing his enemies. This battle is no different from the ones of the past year. No, the past century. You invaded land that doesn't belong to you, Sargonian, and we have no choice but to defend our home.
I think he understood that Ithacos was probably dead by this point. He just needed a reason to keep on fighting.
I have simply become accustomed to asking everyone I meet, have you seen Ithacos? Have you seen that smiling long-haired Forte? He's from Athenius, but he has a South Country accent. Such a thing truly does mean I am, as you say, mad. I have found his armor, his boots, his shield, his arts unit. Everything he left behind on this wooded mountain, I have found. I have found him. I have never once thought you invaders would remember the name of every Minoan you met. Your Padishas hardly care about what every line in your books of merit actually means, do they?
And yeah, those history books were also whitewashed by their historians.
That said, Ithacos, remember this name. 'Tis our passion, our love, and your crime, your punishment. Now, tell me, where was that battle exactly? Which of these furs was watered with the blood of Minos?
Look, I don't know what else the gacha game illiterates are saying, but the subtext is kinda loud. That was his soulmate, dog. Ithacos was Xanthos' soulmate. No shit, they're trying to parallel this with Lycaon and Hecademos. This is Tallulah all over again. You don't go on a tragic spree of violence after the death of just your best friend, your brother, your sister. They were a life partner, man. Xanthos looks up and sees countless Minoan furs standing tall. The wind blows and the entire forest rustles. This land, these woods, they remember many things, but they do not speak. His brother, his friend, the youth who followed his revelation and left home. He died here, somewhere, else everywhere. Ithacos, countless Ithacoses, have left not even bones, all for the sake of the land beneath their feet. Xanthos lifts the giant oar in his hand. After an entire year, it has forgotten the river's burble. Now all that can wet it is the blood of his enemy. The subtext is so gay it became switch text. When in Greece.
Did you avenge Ithacos?
I almost forgot that we were talking to his father.
No. Just as I was about to smash in the head of that Sargonian with my weapon, my friend stopped me while the burgles cried out.
Buggles. Buggles? Buggles. Buggles?
You never told me the campaign you experienced was the final battle before Minos and Sargon signed a ceasefire. Minos, which had lost for 100 years, had finally won. That friend of mine desperately held back my hand. He had a broken leg, yet he could still bring such strength to rein me in. I turned and saw his face full of tears, his eyes full of fear, not towards the Sargonians, but towards me. I knew what he was so afraid of. He was afraid I would destroy this hard-won peace. He was afraid I would bring about a new conflict, that I would extend this cruel war. He was afraid he would become like Ithacos, forever unable to return home. My pent-up rage and grief had nowhere to go. All I could do was watch that Sargonian officer kneel on the ground, numbly listening to the buglers.
Buglers?
The same numbness I felt. It was at that moment I knew the war will rage on in our bodies. It had begun, and it could never end. You are right. The Minos in my heart no longer exists. It died on the battlefield many years ago, alongside the Ithacoses. But I will not allow the enemy to defile our land again, not even if they had built this city. Not even if they had built this city. So even the textbooks say that nowadays. What do you mean?
Wait. Hold up. I'm not reading the text that's on screen yet. I'm just thinking, were the mobile city technology, was it developed primarily by Minoans and not Sargonians? Because Ithacos did go to a village and establish a structure there. Hold up.
Ithacos went to your village so full of passion. Unlike me, he must have taught you many building techniques.
Wait. Does that mean that the Minoan mobile cities are actually Minoan cultural heritage? Which means there is no Sargonian technology that was left behind.
Indeed, he renovated nearly every building in the village.
Oh wait, or was he Sargonian? Hold up, let's read. Let's continue reading.
His techniques were passed down from his ancestors. During the occupation, my own grandfather was pressed into service by the Sargonians to build the nomadic cities, thanks to his mastery of engineering.
It was due to Minoan ingenuity that the mobile cities were built. It wasn't Sargonian tech, it was Minoan ingenuity.
What? The mobility layer of this Athenius might just be his handiwork.
Forgive me, I was far too rude to you earlier.
Do not bow your head for that, boy. I'm not the engineer who built the nomadic cities. I don't have proof of how much our ancestors toiled in building Athenius. All that data was taken away by the Sargonians.
Wait. No, it wasn't. Because they wouldn't be here asking for that data. The Sargonians wanted the Minoan engineers' data. But why? Oh. Fuck, it all makes sense now. Sargon does not have nomadic cities. How would they build a nomadic city during the Minos occupation if they themselves don't have nomadic cities? They want the technology. Oh! It makes sense. They want to steal Minoan nomadic city tech. They never had it in the first place.
An engineer's notes will always have something more than just jargon and modification blueprints. He had to keep track of the quantities of building materials, while coordinating transport and construction teams, so he was a meticulous planner of manpower, and remembered the names of every worker. Not Sargonian workers, but the names of those from Minos, where they came from, and how the Sargonians forced them to do their bidding.
Minoan workers. As I recall, current mainstream thinking is that Padishamala did not use any Minoan workers for heavy labor while the three polis were being built. I mean, no one questioned that? Like during an occupation, why the foreign occupier would not use local labor? Did no one question that?
Do you mean to say history was not written by us, not even in our final victory?
But there is evidence of wrongdoing, evidence that should be shared with the public. Do you remember where these engineers' notes are?
How should I know? Ask the Sargonians. But those Sargonians are probably dead by now.
No, Benui clearly knows what's up and up. Ask the Sargonians. The construction of the three polis. Their history is a lie. It was a fabricated history by Sargon. In the same way that they fabricate their history back at the Golden City, where Pepe is about to go. I love how they tied this in with Inurihare. The whole whitewashing history aspect, the propaganda aspect of history through occupation and colonization.
No!
What is it, Master?
The Sargonian mission is not using the exchange to obtain technical data, but rather the notes detailing proof of the Sargonian sins.
Oh. Well, there's also that. I guess they're less concerned about the technological data and more about the implications that they enslaved the Minoans. But how has no one questioned that at all? Okay. So we finally have the truth of things. I think we have time for one more chapter. We're at MEST-2. Okay. We have time for one more chapter. We gotta see what happens for all things to blow over. ME-ST-2, Voiceless Night. Miracles do not happen on their own, even when you leave things in the hands of fate. Your heart is yours alone to discover. Meanwhile, back at the farm with Melita.
This is the true harp of Karasera.
What? The true harp? The priestess of Endymion reaches out her hand to brush away a corner of the fence running around the burden beast pasture, pulling out a few overgrown blades of grass, revealing a harp built into the fence itself. The simple instrument has nearly become one with the pasture. Not far away, the burden beasts leisurely munch on the radishes the priestess had brought along, humming in satisfaction. The harp was hidden on the fence all along? No one was worried about the environmental stress on the harp?
Its coloration has darkened. The paint on the base is mottled. While the decorative elements are still there, the surfaces have burden beast bite and hoof polishing marks. The whole thing looks like an ornament in the corner of the field.
No! The cows bit on it! It was their chew toy. Well, at least it's giving someone a form of comfort, despite not being able to play songs anymore.
I shouldn't question you, but I find it rather hard to believe. You are a specialist in your field, and no doubt have a repertoire of techniques and standards to confirm it. You may examine it in detail. If you say so. The wood used for the harp's body is definitely from the firs that grow near the site of Old Athenius. As for its design, it's simpler than the one I brought. The strings are far too new though. These are metal strings, only popularized in the last few years. The original strings snapped a long time ago. I replaced them recently. I also had tried using traditional beast cut strings, but no matter the type, the result was always the same. Legend has it that the day old Athenius fell, Karasera's harp fell silent, never to sound again. Metal, beast gut. Once a month I would come here to try and play it, but I could never make it sing again. However you put it, it's the harp Karasera used. Assuming what you say is true, the Sargonians aren't occupying Minos anymore. Why keep it hidden in the field? Why when I suggested holding the ceremony at the first temple? No, even before that, when the Astronomos agreed to conduct the exchange for this relic, you're a priestess. You must have known. Why didn't you bring it out earlier? A harp that doesn't sing is merely a beautiful piece of wood. It can be a fence in a field, or a toy for the burden beast, but what it cannot be is the centerpiece around which to gather everyone together for a ceremony celebrating the completion of a temple. This makes no sense. Even the fake we brought plays notes that move the soul, which is why it is merely a fake. As for the harp before us, if you don't believe me, try it for yourself. You may touch it. No need for reverence. I understand your hesitation. If you can make it sing, if you can create a miracle, then you may consider it the harp that you brought along, and use it to complete your trade. I make you this promise as the current keeper of the harp. Sorry, I've got one more question. Why me? Sure, I need the real harp, but the first temple also needs it. I am a priestess of Endymion Temple, Kyria Mashayer. We are the Hierophants of Revelation. For the people we interpret dreams, decipher visions, and divine the future. Sometimes we will offer some comforts of our own accord, but most times we will be passive, deferring to established facts and heroic wills. Words flow from my lips, but they are beyond my control, like how the things appearing before my eyes are not necessarily a pleasure to see. We might call coincidence a fate, But when true fate approaches, all our witticisms and pontification lose their meaning. Do I have the power to allow the sun to shine, rivers to flow, to dictate all from high to low? To carry the harp of Caracera, counterfeit though it may be, and it has appeared in Athenius. This can only be an omen. The events of the past few days stand as proof. But what is most important is your character. It is because it is you, and not your fellow countrymen, that I expect your spirit to resonate with the harp. First, try singing heroic odes to it. Try playing it, giving your heart to it, and speak to it. Then perhaps you really will be able to make it sing and bring about a miracle.
She's finally gone. All that mysterious claptrap. Sheesh! What? Ready to play already? You really believe her?
She is the priestess of Minos, and Pallas's friend. I doubt she'd lie to me about this. Also, if we really can bring the real harp at the ceremony at the first temple, it'll surely beat running all over Terra with a fake harp strapped to my back. It doesn't really matter if this is the true fate the priests speak of, or if it's some kind of test from the Minoan people, but I have to give it a try.
And how are you going to do that? All that give your heart to it, bring about a miracle baloney? What's your methodology here?
Let's start by playing it.
Holy shit, that was terrible.
Not good. No matter what I try, it only makes these dull sounds. Is the harp structure damaged? But this kind of handheld harp doesn't have a sound box. The issue is probably somewhere. I've already tried adjusting the tension of the strings, but no effect. Could it be a problem with the delicate internal component? But I don't have any tools to take it apart, inspect it, and reassemble it right now.
What a pain in the ass. I'm thinking we go back to stealing the fake harp. Worst comes to worst, I'll help you steal it. Stealing it doesn't mean having to trapeze around Terra. Well, we can do that if you want. We could go to your Pepe girl for some funding.
But now that the real harp is right in front of me, making that choice now would be like running away.
We can call it a tactical relocation if you prefer.
Ever since I was little, the heroes in my tales my father told me, they never ran away.
Just my bad luck, having to take part in this worthless funeral. A useless idiot who squandered every chance that Padisha gave him. This mongrel destroyed our family's reputation.
Hey, not in front of the girl.
What does it matter? I said all that to the man himself. All he did was smile. Didn't even have the courage to talk back. Couldn't even fight worth a damn. Had zero skill in managing the family estates. He said he could appraise things. He couldn't even tell good gems from bad. All he ever did was buy a pile of ancient Minoan books. Who knows if that was even worth anything? All he did was think about useless things like that.
Great. Water time!
Maybe he had some sort of romantic soul the poets speak of.
Romantic? Save it. Would you rather have romance or jewels?
You're asking me? It's not like I'm a poet myself. To me, a giant jewel is an expression of romance.
The day my father was buried, the nobles of the city spoke ill of him in front of me and my mother. Mother said we were an ancient Sargonian family, and that we had to maintain perfect decorum, so all I could do was maintain appropriate expression on my face.
Okay. So she is not Minoan diasporoid. Her dad was just a Minos weeb. But real-life Cleopatra was actually Greek. But her name is more of a reference to Nefertiti, so... But then again, she's kind of a mix.
I knew what they had said before. What they had said may be right. But because he was a people pleaser through and through, someone who amounted to absolutely nothing. But I still didn't want to hear them judge him as they pleased.
He was a Minabu.
The heroes of the Minoan tales my father told me were brave, never shirking from their duties. They would meet all sorts of obstacles on their journey, but they were always determined, forever confronting the challenges that they had to confront. I never really knew why. My father, he was a weak man. Why did he love these stories? This passion of his, why did it never change him, or how he treated people? I simply don't understand.
Look, don't shoot the messenger here, but maybe some puny humans yearn for the things that they don't have.
Maybe. But I've always remembered how clear and steady his voice was when he told me these stories. I love those stories too. Those heroes, gentle, strong, resolute, always walking their own path. That's how I imagine them. There must be some greater purpose, or ideal, otherwise I don't know what meaning there is in life. A hero must face fate bravely when it comes and carry their own burden. Father's stories always had lines like that. Those tales. Siope, the hero who suffered in silence, keeping her secrets, Caracera, Heracles. I need to think of a way.
As she sets out in the field, racking her brains, Titi falls into slumber. She dreams a dream where she is but 7 or 8. Her father was already ill at the time. With one cold hand he held her, while the other he flipped through the tome atop his knee, slowly reciting from it. He never bought her children's books or chose books specifically for her. He simply went with what he liked. But it didn't matter, because Titi liked those stories too. Within those tales, the silent hero Siope, does not speak a word for 30 years, all to keep a secret. Caracera, refusing to perform for outlanders, hangs her harp atop a laurel tree. Perhaps it is the filter of dreams at work, but her father seems to tower over her, the slightly stooped back of her memories now ramrod straight, the voice one of undeniable confidence. Oh, we see the harp in the corner. It's not actually shaped in the bow, it's literally a harp. Are those piano pieces? I thought harps only had strings, but maybe those are strings with plucking pieces on it. All of us have the chance to become a hero. When your duty falls upon you, you need only take it up with courage, Titi.
Really? Can I? How can you be so sure?
It has been so long since she last saw her father, and she wants to ask him these questions, but it is only a dream, and it refuses to bend to her will. In the end, she could not ask what she wished to ask. The gentle light of the twin moons falls upon the pasture, and upon the girl. The land is painted in silver. A breeze blows, curling up the girl's ribbons, lifting the burden bee's headscarves. Even the antiquated, marred harp takes on a gentle radiance under the moonlight. Wait a minute, what if you can only play it under moonlight? Maybe there's something artsy about it. A teardrop slowly falls from the corner of Titi's eyes, and it rolls into the brushes, soon gone from sight.
What if it doesn't play by human means? What if you just set the harp out in the rain and then the rain makes the music? I don't know, that's a stretch. That's such a reach. There's no way Titi crying right now and the harp would make it play. Falling asleep after all that yammering. She didn't even wake me up. Huh. It seems the little girlie needs her beauty sleep too. Hey, what's with the crying? You're always all about that stiff upper lip. Always saying you won't cry, and now you're letting me catch you in the act. I need to keep some evidence for later. Terminal, photo mode. How the hell do you use this thing? Ah, press here. Nothing interesting about a crying girl. Forget it. I'll help you out, you crybaby. Call it payback for all the free meals these past few days. You wanted a miracle, right? Easy as proverbial pie. Moo? Huh? Is Mio gonna fix the harp? Hold up. Some real nice weather we've got today. Gotta herd the bird and beast to the mountain pastures first. Then, since it's such a lovely day, I better repair the fence. What the? The bird and beast? How'd all the bird and beasts get out? No. Mio took the harp off the fence. No. Melita has to herd them back again. Okay. So Mio's got a little surprise to help out Titi. How will they fix the harp? I got no idea. But never doubt a beast lord. Anyway, that'll be that for today's story reading. The ceremony is almost here. We've figured out that the harp is a fake, but we found the real harp. However, Xanthos and Lycaon are about to be put on death row. And dangerously, they're both infected, so it might become a super spreader event. There's also that incredible danger as well. How will we resolve the exchange ceremony? We'll find out this weekend. Anyway, thank you to everyone who stopped by, chilled out in chat, and watched us read through this part of Medjehtiqedti Bound. We will finish the finale of our story reading this weekend. But until then, my name is Nez, and thanks for watching. I'm gonna see you friendos next time. Bye-bye.